Good morning. Thank you for tuning in to our press brief being held today at Government House on St. Croix. And we would like to thank the staff here at Government House for allowing us to use this facility and thank the communications team led by Director Richard Mota Jr. for all their assistance in setting up this press conference. Many thanks to the members of the media for attending virtually. My name is Toby DeRima. I'm the Public Information Officer of the Virgin Islands Police Department. The police commissioner is usually given the latitude to surround himself with persons that give him the best chance for success to choose his leadership team. Today, the police commissioner nominee will address the community on who he has chosen to help him lead the Virgin Islands Police Department. Right now, I'd like to bring to the podium Police Sergeant Frankie Ortiz. Sergeant?
Good morning, distinguished guests and media members. I am Sergeant Frankie Ortiz. I'm a 23-year veteran of the Virgin Islands Police Department, serving for the District of St. Croix. I'm about to introduce a man who is no stranger to the Virgin Islands, as he is a native son of St. Croix. Police Commissioner nominee Ray Martinez has honorably served for over a decade with the Virgin Islands Police Department on many levels. He has served as a Department Director of Internal Affairs, as a Labor Relation Manager. Additionally, he was part of the VIPD financial team and prepared the annual budget, represented the department in union mediations, arbitrations. Police Commissioner nominee Ray Martinez was also the Director of the Intelligence Unit. His passion and commitment drove him to develop the Criminal Intelligence Unit at its policies and procedures. He oversaw the intelligence operations to suppress or apprehend criminal offenders and was the go-to subject expert on gang and gang violence. Police Commissioner nominee Ray Martinez has also acted as a facilitator between the Virgin Islands Police Department and its federal partners, sharing intelligence and assisting high-profile investigations. He came to us after being a director of the Virgin Islands Law Enforcement Planning Commission. I look forward to working with him and his strong work ethics and good reputation. Follow him to this job. Without further ado, it is my honor respectfully present to you Police Commissioner nominee Ray Martinez.
Good morning to the listening and viewing audience, people of these beautiful Virgin Islands. It is a pleasure and humbling experience for me to stand before you today as the Commissioner nominee of the Virgin Islands Police Department. I am tasked to lead the exceptional men and women in whom I have the utmost confidence. Without any reservations, you have my support. I am also empowered by the confidence and support Governor Albert Bryan Jr. has given and continues to give me. Over the past year, our territory has experienced a marked increase in violent crimes. The uptick in these brazen acts has caused you, the community, to question our ability to safeguard you. In addition, we are cognizant of the plethora of small violations that are adding to the community's feeling of lawlessness. Traffic violations such as speeding and ignoring traffic regulations. Excessive window film on vehicles, including those of government, public officials, and law enforcement officers. Ignoring these issues will no longer be tolerated or go unaddressed. You see, we can no longer continue this trend of being reactive. We must become more proactive. Proactivity begins with a plan. When you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Rest assured, I have a plan. This plan includes a mix of traditional, community-oriented, problem-oriented, intelligence-driven, hotspots policing strategies, coupled with technology that includes the use of CCTV cameras, license plate readers, and data-driven crime analysis. In addition, we will implement a new personnel deployment initiative. I need buy-in from my executive team, who have the responsibility of funneling it down to the supervisors and line officers. In the coming weeks, you will hear more on this. As the Commissioner nominee of the Virgin Islands Police Department, aside from fulfilling my obligation to the officers, I go to sleep and I wake up every day thinking about our police officers. Whether they're finishing their night shift, going home to cook breakfast for their children and prepare them for school, or as they watch them enter the classroom. Likewise, to those who finish a full day shift and return home, to have that conversation about the good old day with their family, helping their kids to do homework. I understand you, and I'm with you. I empathize with you and want to let you know I support you. I am cognizant of what you do every day to balance work and family life as a police officer. I know it's not an easy task. Thank you for the awesome job you do. To help balance our community policing efforts with that of our personnel, it is imperative I create and maintain a conducive work environment that encompasses competent policing strategies with effective and sound leadership. That conducive environment is dependent upon the confidence and trust in our executive leadership. It starts with me, the police commissioner, the assistant police commissioners, the deputy police commissioner, and other executive leadership, police chiefs, deputy police chiefs, police supervisors, and last but not least, our officers. You see, this effort begins with me, and I will lead by being firm but fair in executing my duties and rendering the decisions that will have a lasting and positive effect on our department and on our community. Also, our personnel must be given the necessary tools to do their jobs and the ability to streamline a range of services through technology in order to keep up with community demands. While I have a plan to lead a department and that possesses law enforcement experience, and I have that plan and the experience to implement that plan, it was my duty and obligation to first speak with the staff, supervisors, and members of the community. I've been able to assess what is needed to form a leadership team necessary for the continued growth of the VIPD. Some members of the previous leadership team will remain in their current positions, and others will be assigned duties suited to complement the leadership structure. It is now my pleasure to introduce my leadership team, a leadership team that I have given unfettered authority to execute their duties. My leadership selections are based on experience, leadership skills, respect among their peers, and an ardent desire for positive change that promotes our police department. I've decided to have an assistant commissioner in each district. In the St. Thomas district, Assistant Commissioner Maria Brooks will continue serving in that capacity as Assistant Commissioner. In the St. Croix district, Police Chief Sidney Elsko will now become the St. Croix Assistant Commissioner. Both men have the experience, knowledge, and wherewithal to serve in this capacity. In the St. Thomas Water Island District, Lieutenant Barrington Thomas, with his over 33 years of policing experience, has been tapped to become our next St. Thomas, St. John, Water Island Police Chief. In the St. Croix District, Deputy Chief of Police Sean Santos will move up to be our next St. Croix District Chief of Police. In the St. Thomas District, Chief of Police Stephen Phillip will take one step down and return to the duties that he once held as Deputy Chief of Police, while Lieutenant Clayton Brown in the St. John District will assume the duties of the Deputy Chief of St. John. On St. Croix, Corporal Houston Cornelius, another 30-plus year veteran, will become the Deputy Chief of Police. Deputy Commissioner of Professional Standards Jason Marsh will continue in his role as the Deputy Commissioner of the Office of Professional Standards. Internal Affairs, a key component to the department's ability to continue to constitutionally police, will be led by former St. John Deputy Chief Vivian Newton. Our Director of Strategic Planning and Research is now Ms. Carolyn Watley. And our Director of Facilities and Properties is now tasked to Andrea Bryan McIntosh. With the exception of Assistant Commissioner Maria Brooks and Deputy Police Commissioner Jason Marsh, the other members of my leadership team announced today will be in an acting capacity until the necessary paperwork is processed to complete their appointments. In closing, I thank the members of the leadership team for agreeing to serve and their willingness to share this journey with me. Again, I thank Governor Bryan for allowing me this distinct opportunity to lead the Virgin Islands Police Department. To the members of the media, I look forward to forging a fruitful relationship. To my community, you have made an impassioned plea for a safer territory. The onus for increasing our policing efforts rests on the shoulders of my executive leadership team and I. We've heard you, we understand, and we are ready for the challenge at hand. I will now give the media the opportunity to ask any questions. Thank you for tuning in. Mr. Bullock. VI Consortium, Ernest Gilbert.
Oh, Commissioner, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
All right, thank you. And congratulations on the leadership team there. A few questions. I want to start off with the, I guess the obvious. You announced a new leadership team. We're seeing some changes. What are the tangible results can you promise the community because of those changes?
Well, outside of making promises, I think it's just more efficient for us to maintain a course of action with the plan that we're going to put in place rather quickly. We're going to have a distinct effort in redeploying our resources, both technological and our personnel resources. We're meeting with the unions as we speak regarding changing up the working hours that are going to help with the redeployment of our personnel resources. In addition, we've made very good leaps and bounds in becoming a more data-centric department, and we've also been in conversations with our federal partners who are on board to provide us with as much assistance as we require.
Okay, thank you. A quick follow-up there relative to the data. I spoke with the governor recently, and he mentioned the New York trip that you participated in at the NYPD, spoke of some camera technology and amazing technology and efforts that are ongoing there. What did you learn from that visit, and how soon do you believe any implementation locally could take place?
Well, first of all, Ernest, let's take a step back. The department has been working towards the implementation of technology for quite some time. We've got our camera program that we're putting into to place. Right now, we've got, I think, just about 50% of our cameras are installed and energized. But when you start speaking about what we learned in New York, one of the key components is the fact that we cannot continue to operate without having the crime analysis in place. So we're going to, that's a huge effort that we're going to undertake. Again, the cameras are going to be an integral part of it. We are in the process of sending out an MOU or requesting an MOU with the NYPD that is going to provide us with some intelligence officers from the from the NYPD coming in and helping us to develop our intelligence unit.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner. I want to ask, and this is something that has been ongoing. You know, we've asked about this, other media houses have asked about this, and it's the idea of trust in police. And, you know, police have always said one of the better ways and best ways to fight crime is if you're seeing community involvement, and you've mentioned that as well. I want to speak to what a close friend recently told me. There was an incident at this person's home, and the VIPD responded to that incident. This person had camera footage of the incident, and the VIPD requested that footage. Lo and behold, the next day, that very same footage arrives in that person's WhatsApp, and that person hadn't shared it anywhere else. And so during the last press conference, immediately when it was done, I got a call from this person, and they were like, yeah, you know, all of this, I can't trust the VIPD. There are other instances of similar situations. How can the community have full confidence in the police force relative to providing information when you have such incidents occurring? And are there any repercussions for officers found to be wanting in those incidents?
Well, Ernest, to your first question regarding or for your first statement regarding the information I got, now that should not happen. That's why we have rules and procedures, and that is why it's pertinent upon these individuals that you see standing behind you for us to hit the ground running and to put those things in place to ensure that the policies that we've got in place right now are followed, and in the event that when there are infractions, that we follow up, again, that we be, as you heard me say earlier, that we are firm but fair with our discipline, that we're firm and fair with our investigations, and that we follow those investigations through to the end. Now, it is no secret that, again, confidence and trust are those things that are going to push us further with the community. I cannot speak to those incidents that have occurred in the past. As a matter of fact, this is the first time I'm hearing what you're saying, but I can tell you that I, standing here today, will in fact follow up with my leadership team regarding those allegations.
All right, and probably offline I could tell you more about it. Relative
Please do.
to yes, sir. And knowing that there's obviously a lack of trust between the police department and the community relative to providing information that they may know, we haven't heard any strategy as to how the VIPD would rebuild that trust. Are you having those discussions? Certain things can be done, certain levels of communication, certain levels of exposure. Are you having those discussions in relation to building back the relationship between the VIPD and the community? Well,
most definitely, Ernest. And again, apart from the instance that you alluded to earlier, I am a staunch believer that the issues between the relationship between the community and our department is sort of splintered, not more than on trust, but based on confidence. Because there's a great part of our community that trusts the department. I think that it's more that they've lost the confidence in the department to police. And that confidence is going to be increased when we're seen out there more often, when we continue to, as we continue to respond timely to cases, as we continue to make arrests, but not just simply an arrest, but arrests that lead to successful prosecutions. Those are the things that are going to be needed to build that trust and confidence that that's required. But it starts with us. It starts again, Ernest, with the plan. We do have the plan. We've got some portions of it that we need to fine tune, but it is that plan and sticking to that plan and making changes when changes need to be made that's going to move us forward. That's going to build back that confidence that we require. At the end of the day, we cannot expect the community to continue to provide us information, to continue to want to speak with us if we're not doing our part. And I'll tell you this, I am confident that we have been doing our part, but of course we can always do better, and that's the aim, to have a plan in place that assists us with the technology, with the personnel, with the deployment to help us to do better.
And Commissioner, if I may add lastly here, if you would speak to this, because I suppose it could give the community a visual understanding of what is your vision for the VIPD. So if you would relate to us in simple terms, what would your vision mean in tangible terms to the community? Is it that we're going to see more of a presence? Our response time is going to be even more often or earlier? Are we going to see more information being provided to the community relative to trying to get certain things solved? What is that vision in a tangible manner that the community will see moving forward?
In its simplest terms, Ernest, the vision and is really to get out, and we just need to police. We need to police the big things, which are the violent crimes that are plaguing us. But we also need to police the little things as well, the tint, the noise, the motorcycles that are driving around here with no license plates, the small infractions. So it's just about policing everything all together and prioritizing our the steps that we're going to take and prioritizing what at that time needs to be addressed.
All right, Commissioner, thank you, and best of luck to you and your leadership team. Thank you.
Thank you. Diana?
Good afternoon. This is Diana Diaz with the VI Source. Thank you for taking my questions, Police Commissioner Martinez, and congratulations once again.
Thank you.
The community has heard details of your plans, and you mentioned the cameras and your vision. How much closer are we so that the community can see this plan take full action? Or are these changes happening gradually?
No, you are going to hear of these plans in short order. Really, what's preventing me from putting this plan out forward is the fact that this is Ray Martinez's plan. This is the plan that I came and sat with Governor Bryan and provided and introduced to him and the Chief of Staff and his executive team. But again, Diana, this is my plan. But at the end of the day, it's not the Ray Martinez Police Department. It's the Virgin Islands Police Department. And that's the purpose of me having assembling the executive team that I have before me. I now have to go and take this plan, and we've already been in conversations and deep dialogue about it. But I have to present my plan to my executive team, and we need to start to work on it. Because again, there are certain things coming from the outside, and returning to the VIPD after 6.5 years, much has changed. And I have to provide the executive team with the opportunity to have, to influence what the generalized and the overall plan is going to be. Most importantly, it's key that I get out there that for this plan to be successful, we have to understand, and we do, that it cannot be so rigid or stringent a plan that changes can't be made, because as things change, as our community changes, as the crime changes, as trends change, we need to have a plan that adapts to those changes and those trends as well. And that's what it is that we're going to move forward, and that's what I am looking for at the top.
All right, thank you. That's all the questions I have for now.
Bruce? Anyone else with a question? Media? Hearing none, I thank you all for giving me the opportunity this morning to speak with you and providing me with the opportunity to answer your questions to the community. Once again, we are ready, willing, and able, and we look forward to the opportunity to serve this community, to safeguard this community. Thank you again.